What's going on, you guys? This is John and I'm back with another video. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done a sit and talk video. It hasn't really been a while, but it's just been a while since I recorded one. I'm gonna try to keep it short, try to not extend it too long. So today I actually wrote down some PowerPoints to see what I'm gonna talk about. So if you guys haven't been able to tell by the title, I wanna explain to you guys and tell you guys about the shrooms experiences that I've had, different stories, what I take from them, and just, you know, all the one-on-ones of shrooms and shit, according to me and according to my own personal experience, of course. No Johan video is complete without a very, very important element to the video. I'm gonna try to wait a little bit before I show it. Leave a like though to help me with that, and I appreciate all the support. Like, comment, and share if you guys enjoy the video, and let's get right into it. Before we start with the actual story time, I just want to tell you guys that shrooms is definitely something that you guys need to proceed with caution. Do not expect it to just be like weed and it's just a regular high that you could control. Shrooms is very, very much not in your control whatsoever. Like, you could control certain parts of it, like at least know what you're doing, but where your mind tends to drift off and take you, it's not really up to you. It's more or less up to your conscience. I could go deep into it in another video, but do your own research so that way you can know what it is that you're getting yourself into, and obviously always be safe. Shrooms is a very fun, you know, experience if you're doing it with the right person and if you're doing it in the right setting, and these are just my experiences with shrooms, so do it at your own discretion. I do not advise anyone to do anything, to try anything. This is just me explaining my own personal story. So yeah, let's get it started. I don't know why I do this with my blunts and stuff. You guys see like the top end, like how it looks. I don't know why I do that. I do that a lot, but we got a nice little whiskey today, as you guys can tell. Shout out to the camera for focusing. I'm gonna talk about the first time I ever tried them. And the first time I ever tried them, you guys already heard it before. I said it in the last Q&A video that I filmed with my cousin Jenny. That's gonna be up here. To go into further detail on the first time I ever tried them. Basically, random ass morning on a random ass day. It was probably like at least 2 to 3 years ago. I wasn't really working at that time. I was more or less just staying home, just trying to do music and just figure out what it is that I was trying to do in my life. So I would go over to the homie's garage and we would just do music every now and then, mess around, smoke, talk, like just, you know, mostly chill as a daily thing. I remember that we would always just talk about shrooms and we would talk about like wanting to try them. I don't know if it was exactly just me that decided. In this specific day and for my first time, it was with the homie Ernesto and the homie Chris. Hopefully they don't mind me using their names. We had just planned out to just smoke as much as possible because we heard that weed helps relax you while you're on shrooms, which is very, very, very true. So if you didn't know that, now you know that. The homie Ernesto has previously done them before, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he did them way before I did. And he just loves going crazy with them. So he has definitely done the whole, I'm seeing a whole bunch of crazy shit for sure. That way you guys can get a little idea of like everyone's mindset getting into this. Me, it was my first time, and the homie Chris, I believe it was his first time too, if I'm not mistaken. So we decide on taking the shrooms. We get the shrooms, pull up to his garage. We have a whole bunch of stuff ready. We have a whole bunch of weed ready to roll up. So we ended up scaling them out because I had a scale on me. Oh no, cap, we didn't scale it out. We actually ate it off a chocolate bar. We actually ate a chocolate bar, a shroom chocolate bar, because at the time the homie had gotten some and he had told me that he had some for the low. So I was like, all right, for sure, say less, I need that. My first time was actually not the actual mushroom plant. It was actually a mushroom chocolate bar. So just to let you guys know, so it is way different, by the way, way different experience. We ended up separating the shroom into sections. It was like, I think 12 pieces. With what it said in the back of the packaging, me and the homie Chris basically microdosed, but the homie Ernie took more. Again, I don't remember exactly how we split it. It probably wasn't into 3 sections now that I'm thinking about it, but just to give you guys an idea, me and the homie were for sure microdosing and the homie Ernie was for sure not. We end up taking them, and when they start kind of hitting you, it's more or less like a very slow, like, whoa, like what is this? Even if you're already high, you kind of just start like feeling something else and you're just like, what the hell? And it's kind of like a jittery, overly excited but yet not excited kind of feeling. At one point, I remember, again, we had planned to just stay there and chill and just smoke. At one point, me and the homie just kind of were like, you know what, like we need to go out and go for a walk. Like I have too much energy. We ended up going to the beach. I talked my ass off to the homie because when you're on shrooms, if you don't know, that shit just makes you want to talk like a motherfucker. It like activates a different side of your brain that allows you to speak about things that maybe you wouldn't even speak about before, or even just have an opinion or even add on to an opinion that you might have had before. It makes you kind of look more deeper into everything. Like you want to read in between the lines of most things that you're evaluating and looking at. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just the way I could explain it. We were just talking all the way over there, well, basically me. And yeah, I was just at the beach. The waves were kind of looking a little like extra wavy. The sand was like grooving up and down. It wasn't really a whole like, oh my God, this is scary type of vibe. It was just more or less like, this is nice. Like this is very comforting, it was therapeutic, literally. Like it was a very therapeutic moment for me. I know that the homie Ernie was for sure tripping because he was quiet as fuck the whole time. But all I remember him saying was was that he was tripping, but he never really spoke on like what his thoughts or what it was, you know. I was mostly that time just really speaking on what I thought, what I was seeing, and then the homie Chris was just being the best listener in the world. Of course Ernie was too, but you know, Ernie was definitely in his own world, and not in a bad way. And that was really more or less my first time. It was just some chill, you know, something cool, something light. Now the plant to me is definitely more potent and more powerful. I can't remember most of the times I did them, and I don't know if it's because I did them or just because so much has happened since and it's been so long ago, but I do remember a few moments and times and stuff, and that's the ones that I want to speak to you guys about. This is in no way gonna be in order, but basically the backstory is, for my birthday I really wanted to get lit, I really wanted to get drunk. It didn't exactly end up happening how I thought it was gonna happen, so I was kind of bummed out and still left with the feeling of I want to get drunk, I want to get lit. So when it came around to my cousin's birthday around 8 days later, because we're 8 days apart, she ended up also supposedly wanting to get lit and drunk. She came out in my video before, you guys could go check that out again, link in the description. And she ended up just not really lagging it, but just it didn't end up going how I thought it was gonna go. So again, I was left with this feeling of getting lit. I just remember spending the whole like week or so just trying so hard to get just drunk or just get some type of lit. At the time I was kind of going through shit, but it wasn't even all that. It was just more or less like something inside of me just really wanted to keep going with this whole alcohol and partying and getting drunk and smoking, and I don't know. So point is, I remember it came to around like Sunday of that weekend. I remember Alexis, he also came out in a previous video. Alexis had given me about, I think it was 1/8 of shrooms, and I had remembered it, and I said, you know what, this whole weekend it wasn't lit, no one was really active like that, so I was like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna just pop shrooms. Her house is divided into 3 basically. She has the front house, which is her main house, and then 2 in the back. It's a duplex basically. So I was staying in the back house with my cousin Chris, and I was staying there the whole weekend because again, I was just very heavy on trying to get lit and trying to keep going like with the party or whatever the fuck. So Monday came around, not Sunday, Monday came around, and I was like, you know what, I have these shrooms, I'm gonna just pop them and see what happens. And it was just a regular Monday for everybody else, but for me, because I wasn't working, because I wasn't really doing anything at the time, I was like, all right, fuck it, it's a weekend, like let's just get lit in my head, right? So I ended up taking them in the morning like around 9 a.m., which is fucking crazy. And I just remember that at first it started off very funny because I was noticing a whole bunch of shit, like really tapping in to see like different, I don't know, different just perspectives in life on like how I see people and how people like go about their days. Like it's just, I don't know, I wish I have the words for you guys, but it's just knowing that the world is bigger than yourself. Like life is bigger than you. It's not all about you and what you're going, like everyone else is going through, if not more, the same or almost the same amount of issues and struggles that you're going through. It's just we don't see it. I hope that makes sense, but that's something that I realized as well. So it started off cool, you know, it started off very like eye-opening and stuff like that, because my cousin, I'm not gonna give his name, my cousin Chad ended up losing his keys, and he was spending the whole morning looking for it. Keep in mind I was on shrooms, so I was paying very much more attention to what was going on around me. He was looking for his keys, and he was just kind of going crazy because it was his, you know, work keys, and you obviously need your work keys for work. And then at the same time while he was doing that, my cousin Chris, which I was staying with, was spending the whole morning just kind of painting his room and doing his own thing, you know. And I had stepped out of his house and all that because obviously he was painting his room, so I was gonna give him his time to work on that. While this is all happening, my other cousin Jenny decides to go to the store, and I decided to go with her. Again, keep in mind, while I was on shrooms, thinking that I was just gonna be cooling. So we go to the store, we get to the store, right? She's whipping it crazy the whole time. Like she loves driving her car like it's a goddamn sports Ferrari. So we get to the store, right? She done whip this shit everywhere, right? Keep in mind, like I said, she drives crazy, right? We get to the store and boom, out of nowhere, bro, colors start getting bright. I start seeing like, you know, more like squiggles. I don't know if that makes sense. Life gets a little more distorted. So it started hitting while I was inside the store. My cousin, bro, she is funny as fuck. She is one of them funny ass females that just will have you laughing your ass off nonstop. I'm in this store tripping balls. Like this is the most high I've been in a while. Up to that point I hadn't taken shrooms in like over a couple months. We're in the store and I'm laughing, and I remember the whole time I'm just like, bro, you gotta chill, like I'm tripping, bro. And with the most like honest but meanest fucking face, she was just like, what? Who tripping? And I just started laughing my ass off because I thought it was the funniest shit. Like a little short ass fucking 5'5" female looking up at you and telling you who tripping like that was just the most hilarious shit I've ever seen, bro. And I was like, you know what, I gotta get the fuck out the store. I'm like, I'm laughing way too hard, I'm looking like a fucking cracker, we gotta go. We end up leaving the store, you know, we drive all the way back, finally feeling a little more calm because I know I'm about to smoke up and I'm not in the public's eye and I'm not looking like a fucking psychopath. So we get back to her crib, you know, she goes back inside because she has to do her own daily duties, and I start just chilling outside and just, you know, smoking up up in the front porch. As I'm smoking up in the front porch, my cousin Chad comes back around. He's like, bro, I can't find my fucking keys. And he's like stressed, like at this point sweating because he done looked everywhere. He's looked all over the whole house, all the houses that are there, looked in his garage. He's looked everywhere up and down for these keys, right? He can't find them. So I tell him like, hopefully they'll pop up soon, bro. Like, don't worry about it, you know, like hopefully as long as you didn't lock them inside or they're not anywhere crazy, like you'll find them. And he's like, nah, like I know I had them. I just can't remember where I put them. He's like, I had them, but like, I had them right here. And again, I'm tripping off shrooms, so I'm just really paying attention to all of this. After that, I think my cousin had forgotten like some meat or something from the store, just something like tortillas or tostadas or something. And if I remember correctly, we decided to head out again to go to the store. Again, whipping like crazy, bro. This time around, like I'm still pretty high on shrooms, but I'm not really tripping like that because it's a smaller store, you know? And we just kind of went in and went out. Fuck, like this was at least like 5 hours later. I'm talking about we was just going about our day, just living, and then we went to the store again, came back, right? Bro, my cousin Chad comes to her car for some reason and just out of nowhere says, oh my fucking god, like loud as fuck. And I'm thinking like, oh shit, like what the fuck happened, like, you know, like what's happening? And I turn around and I look at him. He's all like, bro, if you guys ever seen the top of a car, there's like crevices, I don't know how to explain it, on the side of the roofs. It was kind of in those little indents and that little just pocket, like little skinny ass pocket thingy on the hood. It was stuck, jammed right there. His keys, his work keys, very valuable, like he could have gotten fired over losing these keys, were literally stuck in the middle of this little crevice on the top of the hood of my cousin Jenny's car. Same car she was whipping like crazy, and I'm talking about like speed bumps, doesn't give a fuck, any type of doesn't give a fuck, she's running through them. And them bitches were right there. And I remember just being so like damn amazed, like being like, bro, how many chances did these keys have to fall or have to like get lost or something? And just nothing, like them bitches stayed there. Like for some reason, one reason or another, like they just stay there. That's the type of shit that I mean when that you just look into more and just like, damn, like bro just spent his whole morning looking for these keys. The whole time they were right there, and you know, boom. Like I always just remember that. I think that's so funny because it also kind of like shows like what's meant to be is gonna be. Like those keys could have fallen whenever and they didn't fall, but the whole time he was looking for them, looking up and down and everywhere, they were literally on the car that we kept using to go and run these errands and drive like crazy. Like we didn't think anything was up there, so we was just driving like whatever. Well, she was driving like however. Same day, right after that, because shrooms last like about 5 or 6 hours. No, way more, like 8. It just depends. It depends how much you take, but they last a while. Same day, right? I remember just after that, kind of just looking and evaluating like my life and shit. It kind of got deep after a while, because I remember my cousin was like, oh, let's go to like the beach or like some like, you know, park or something. And I don't know why, I was just kind of very like just drained, I guess, energy wise, and I was kind of like just overthinking a lot of things. And what I was overthinking was just the fact that I was really trying to buy all this beer and like try to get drunk for like damn near a week straight. And I just kind of looked at myself in the mirror for a sec. The whole point like of me telling the stories beforehand of my cousin Chad, my cousin Chris, and my cousin Jenny was because I was really paying attention to their lives and what they were doing. Me over here taking shrooms, not giving a fuck, smoking since 9 a.m. up until like what, 4 or 5 in the afternoon. It was something that I was very much paying attention to in this trip. I was self-evaluating and I was like, bro, like you really just did too much. Like I spent over like $200 in a weekend just trying my best to get all this alcohol. I ended up just going home. They ended up dropping me off and I felt like shit. Like I'm not gonna lie, I felt like straight shit. It went from me being very grateful about seeing all these perspectives and being laughing my ass off because of everything that was happening, to then me just completely being fucking depressed and being sad as fuck about all the decisions and all the shit that I've been doing leading up to that day, you know? Because again, this is just a regular Monday, like in the week. Like there was no reason, nothing. Like I was just really on shrooms. Like it sounds hella judgmental, but I swear I wasn't judging. I was just kind of spectating, if that makes sense. Just really just taking it in and acknowledging what it is that they were going through. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I'm not trying to make it deeper than what it is, but that's just how deep it got, you know? And so when it came down to looking at myself in the mirror, I just saw a whole bunch of shit that I guess I wasn't happy with. And it made me just kind of fall into this depression for a little bit that I ended up just kind of knocking out. Like I ended up just sleeping it out because I was just staring at the wall, like not even seeing anything, just being hella in my head and being like, bro, like you need to stop doing this, you need to change your life, you need to start saving money, you know, a whole bunch of just self-improvement that I was just pointing out to myself that I needed to do. And after that day, I kind of just, it changed like how I looked at shrooms, because I was like, you know what, this is fun, yeah, this is funny, and I've had a lot of good experiences before that for some reason I can't remember to tell you guys right now, but I've had a lot of good experiences before that. But this one specific experience was just eye-opening, but not eye-opening in the fun way, but eye-opening in the, hey, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to stop doing it. And that's what shrooms are, like in a sense, like they'll open your eyes to your own fault, they'll bring out the truths in your lies, in others' lies. Your intuition just kind of doubles, if not triples, and you just start kind of just looking at things in a whole different view. Someone else kind of takes over your body and just starts like, hey, you never questioned that? But that's definitely one of the best and worst times, just because it was very funny in the beginning and I'll forever remember it, but then it just kind of turned into a dark road afterwards. But it wasn't the fault of anything, it was just more or less that's where the shrooms took me, because in the back of my conscience, in the back of my head, I knew that I wasn't really happy with what it is that I was doing. I was looking at everybody else's life and I seen how everyone just kind of shuts off that, all right, no more party, it's time to get back to life. And that's just something that I guess I was struggling with at that time, because again, I wasn't working. I wasn't like, I went a year without working and I was just at home doing, you know, just little shit to make money on the side. It didn't click to me that what I was doing wasn't okay. It kind of made me get a job again, I'm not gonna lie. Like after that, I started applying for jobs again, and that's when I started working again. So there's that. But it's not always like that. It could be very fun if, again, you're surrounded by the right types of people. I remember this one time, me and my girl had went over to Disneyland. Recently, I've been going a lot to Disneyland because I got the Disney pass. So me and my girl had decided to take shrooms before going to Disney. Now, what we didn't kind of take into effect was the fact that it's Disneyland. We thought it was gonna be a very fun trip, you get me, to just try them and just witness all of that and experience all of that. If you don't know, if you have the season pass or whatever the fuck at Disneyland, if you have the highest one, you can pull up whenever the fuck you want at Disneyland. So usually we were used to going when school was in session and not a lot of people were there. This specific day though that we went, everyone was there because everyone went into summer vacation, and so obviously people were traveling, people were coming from different places, and it was just very busy. So when we had taken the shrooms, I remember that we were just basically just very hot, and so we were sweating, and a lot of people were just, when there's so many voices around you and you can't even focus on one topic, it's like almost like having an anxiety attack. I don't know, I don't want to say it's the same thing, I don't want to say it's worse because I've had an anxiety attack, but it doesn't necessarily make you panic, it just makes you want to leave wherever the fuck it is you is. So for me personally, we were trying to get on like the Indiana Jones ride, and I remember just, it was the music that they were playing, the people around us, people were kind of looking at us like, people know when you're on shrooms. That's very obvious. Like if you think that it's not obvious to tell when you're on shrooms, you're tripping. Your eyes get bigger and you're like, your pupils get way bigger, and like it's a very obvious thing when people are on shrooms, if you know what shrooms are. When we were there, like on the ride, like we just kind of felt that there were a lot of people just kind of looking at us and staring at us because we were just in our own little bubble, talking and laughing and just, you know, being high on shrooms. So we ended up actually leaving the ride because we were like, you know what, like this isn't it. And I don't know if Disney could like ban you for all this. Like again, I'm not really bothering anyone, but we just left the ride because we were like, you know what, like this isn't worth it. We ended up doing it again. Second time we did it, we went at night and it was way more cool, way less busy, and it was definitely a funner experience, I'm not gonna lie. You just gotta know when, where, and with who to do it, and that's where now I get into what I wanted to say. Best places to do it, wherever you feel comfortable. That's the best place to do it. If you feel comfortable in your crib, in your car, away from the public, with the public, like however, wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you feel comfortable, that's the place to do it. Places to not do it is if you know you're not that good in a public setting already sober, you should definitely not be on shrooms in a public setting. If you know you're gonna be around family and your family isn't okay with that and they don't like it, definitely don't do it. If you're gonna be around someone that is very judgmental and likes talking about things that are very like, if not triggering, just very not for the moment, like, you know, like when someone brings up some sad ass shit when everyone's laughing, if it's someone like that, definitely don't do shrooms around. Your emotions are very like, not up and down like crazy, but if you're happy, you're happy, and if you're sad, you're sad. So I would say do it with like your best friend. Make sure that you're both comfortable. If you guys laugh a lot, if you guys always just talking shit but in a good way, or just, you know, playing video games, like watching a movie, like something cool, something where you're in a controlled place and you feel comfortable and like safe, that's where I would recommend doing them. If you haven't done this shit and you just like watching this video and think it's cool, I do not think you should do anything because it's cool. I think you should do something because you want to do it. Me personally, I only do shrooms to try and learn something from it, which is why I only microdose. Different ways in taking shrooms, you can either microdose. Me, I only microdose because I'm not really too good at seeing crazy things yet. I haven't really seen anything crazy, but I could just imagine some shit trying to pop out at me and I'm not really ready for all that. The closest I got in, and this is again another moment where I realized that shrooms doesn't play, I remember I had taken them and it was taking forever to hit, and I was like, bro, like this is kind of whack, you know, like I want them to hit. And I was just staring at my bud that I had, like, and I was just looking at it, and out of nowhere this shit turns into a fucking, like, not a flower, but like it was almost turning into snakes, if that makes sense. Like it was like kind of a flower turning into like a snake head. I instantly put down the bud and I was like, all right, never mind, I'm sorry. Like, oh shit, like never mind, bro. You can't fuck around with it. It's fun, it's all fun and games until it's not fun. It could definitely get not fun if you're just around someone or somewhere that you just don't want to be, or you just really can't be around. Don't do them at work, that's a given. Why would you don't do them at work. Again, don't be like me. If you're gonna be somewhere public, know if it's gonna be hot, know what you're gonna wear, know who's gonna be there. Like, one thing that happened to us in public at Disney while we were on shrooms is some old guy kept following us. It was just kind of weird, and sometimes you think like, oh, is it because I'm high on shrooms and I'm overthinking it, or is this person really being weird? And bro was really being weird. Like, I remember I had to backtrack a little bit to see if he was behind us, and bro was always behind us. And this place that we were at Disney, I don't want to disclose too much information, just I don't want them to be like, oh, you can't go. It's explorable. Like, you could go wherever you want. You don't have to follow a certain trail. You don't have to follow someone. Like, you can go wherever you want. And bro just always happened to be behind us. So we ended up leaving, felt uncomfortable. We ended up just going somewhere else. Like I said, just know what you're getting yourself into, know who you're gonna be around. Like, from then on, just do what you gotta do. I definitely don't recommend it to anyone that hasn't even tried weed. And I don't mean that in the sense of go out and try all these fucking drugs. Like, I mean that in the sense of, if you're gonna try something, at least steady move up to it. Don't just go crazy and think you just finna handle it like a boss. Like, you probably could, and if you do, I respect you, but hell nah, not me. Personally, I couldn't. It helps to have a little bit of weed in your system while you're on shrooms. I ain't even gonna lie. Different places that I've done shrooms too, like, to give you guys an idea, I've done them here at my house, like in this room, just chilling by myself. Those are cool if you're comfortable with being by yourself, like those trips, because again, I do them to self-evaluate and to know what it is that I need to do next, what it is that I really feel like doing. For example, I remember the reason why I told myself that I was really gonna save up for the camera and save up for my computer and start doing all this shit to get my shit back, so that way I could get back to doing what I love. I decided to do that while I was on shrooms. I'm not saying that I need it, because obviously you don't need it, but it's just more or less like, it helped me clearly see what it is that I wanted to do. And I hope this video isn't confusing. This is the second time I film it. It'll help you just get some clarity with yourself, what makes you happy, what you want to do. And that's why a lot of people use it to cure their depression. It's been clinically proven to cure depression. Not cure depression, but help with depression. And it's, it's therapeutic. There's therapy, hallucinogenic therapy. I don't know how to say the word, bro, or the actual term, but it's therapy where they actually use shrooms to kind of just bring out those emotions that are in the back of your head and the back of your conscience that aren't really there. I just noticed that a lot of people, when they talk about shrooms, they talk about like the whole visuals and how it feels and funny things they did, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about like the real emotional, not too spiritual, because again, I'm not anyone, bro. I'm not mentoring this. I don't even know really what I'm talking about right now. This is just my own experience with this, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about it in the way that I talk about it. Because whenever someone asks me like, oh bro, like, what do you think about them, like, I don't just say like, oh, they're fun, or oh, they're cool. Like, I really have to get into a deep discussion, which is why I think it's so hard for me to film this, because it's deeper than to say, oh, they're fun, or deeper than to say, oh, they're cool or interesting. It's just deeper than that. Like, it's something that'll just change your view on life if you allow it to, or also kind of, hurt you, or just make you feel some type of emotion that you might not want to feel. Like, for example, my girl personally, and hopefully she don't mind me talking about this, she has issues kind of bringing up her emotions and talking about certain emotions because of her past and past situations that kind of made her that way. While we were on shrooms though, she was able to fully open up about these things that she wasn't able to open up about before, and was able to talk to me. We were able to discuss it out. She cried it out. I even ended up crying too, because wounds open up and emotions come out. But it's, like I said, very therapeutic and very spiritually elevating, if that makes sense. And I done grew so many different views and outlooks on life because of it. It's been in different enough settings where like I'm kind of just seeing that it's regardless the same thing. Like, if you're microdosing, at least that's what I get from it. That's what I say they are. Again, this is just shrooms 101 from Johan's experience, and that's just what it is. Everyone's experience is gonna vary. It's gonna vary on your mindset and who you are. Just always keep that in mind, and that's with anything. To anyone that feels like they have questions that are unanswered about themselves, about life, maybe a perspective on life that they wish to change, or maybe just have habits that they want to drop and maybe want to develop new habits. Like, if you have things you want to work on, or you have things that you want to learn, understand, I recommend what I recommend. I can't say it because I don't want YouTube to say or mark me down for anything, but I just think forever, just be safe with it, know what you're doing, and I can't stress that enough. Very good experience that I had on this is this one day I decided to just sit down in my room and take them, and I decided to take them and just listen to the whole damn album. Now, if you guys don't know that album, it's an album made by Kendrick Lamar, and it's a story. You could hear it from the first to the last song, or the last song to the first song, and it's two different stories. This is one of my favorite albums, like probably, if not number one, for sure top 3. It's something that you could listen to over and over and over and over again, and if you're open to it, you'll hear something new. It's all up for interpretation on how your mindset is and what you think. But I laid down there and I just listened to this whole album, but now it was in a whole different perspective, because I've listened to it sober, I've listened to it high on weed, and then now, on shrooms, and it's just, again, a whole different perspective. You just value it differently. I don't know. It's a very cool experience, but don't get stuck down the rabbit hole. It brings lies forward. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if you're hiding some shit, and I mean this, if you're hiding some shit, bro, don't do it around the person you're hiding some shit from. And I don't know, whatever you guys want to interpret that as, if you're hiding some shit, and if you're hiding some shit, you probably shouldn't be hiding some shit. But if you're hiding some shit, definitely I recommend just, again, learn what it is. Learn what it is that you're getting yourself into. Tip your toes in it and then start walking in it. Don't just fucking run into it. Like, be very cautious and just know what it is you're doing. I don't really know what else to say. Again, I kept struggling to film this video. I just kind of dumped you guys with some information on it, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If I ever remember more stories, or if I ever actually write down a script, I'll make sure to record this again, or a part 2 or something. And if you guys are interested, then leave a like. Last thing I'm gonna talk about, the chocolate bar, like shroom chocolate bars or shroom candies compared to the actual thing. The actual thing, and this is with anything, like with weed and all that as well, the actual plant itself is way more potent, way more healthier, and way more, just I feel like, worth trying. I don't recommend the chocolate bars. I actually heard that they're actually not that safe for you, and it's a whole bunch of lab created hallucinogens, so take that however you want. That's just something that I didn't know. I ended up finding out after I took them, and I wish I would have known them before. That's basically all I have to offer for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I really hope I find a way to make it entertaining. Leave a like, subscribe, and share. Like always, comment down on any types of videos you guys want to see. I am trying to work on more like hotbox and just different types of funner videos for you guys, but a good sit and talk never hurt. I like talking to you guys. Some of you guys actually appreciate these videos, and shout out to you guys that do, because I enjoy making them. But it's just, I don't know, I probably need to start writing scripts or something, bro. I just fucking sit here, start smoking, and just start talking my ass off. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Appreciate y'all for watching, and if you're interested to know, this is all that was left. Not really much. This is Roach. All right, love y'all. Peace.